Good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon Pawan Kumar. Good afternoon Banateja. Good afternoon. So yes, good afternoon everyone. Is everything clear? Audio, video. Just let me know. Well, is everything clear? Yes, good afternoon everyone. Is everything clear? Yeah. Gopinath. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Gopinath. So yes, we will start the class. So yes, we are going to start the class, and today is our day 4 session for Super 50 live class, Super 50 booster revision session, and today is our day 4. We have completed day 1, day 2 and day 3 targets. Shri, ma'am, in cost audit rules, in one question you said table A and table B category products audit is applicable, and then for other products also it is applicable. Yes. Yes, Shri, I've told that. Yes, it is applicable. So what's your question there? I'm not exactly understood your doubt, Shri. Can you make it more clear for me? Okay, till she gives reply, we'll go with our schedule. Our day 4 schedule is audit of different service organizations, forensic audit and anti-money laundering. So in this session, we are going to see what are the important concepts and what are the Super 50 questions, which means from which type of concepts questions are being framed in the examination and how these questions are being framed and how you have to attempt it in the examination. We will go and look into these 3 units or these 3 concepts in a detailed manner. Shri, for all products in that question, the cost audit will be applicable. Yes, Shri, it is applicable. See, I'll give you the clarity. Now, we have rules in which rule 3 and rule 4 is important. I guess rule 3 will not have any doubt because the turnover limit is same. Turnover limits for both regulated and non-regulated sectors, the turnover limit is more than or equal to 35 crores in the immediate preceding financial year. If this turnover limit is exceeded, then whatever products are there, whatever manufacturing is happening, is it products or services, whatever it could be, that particular entity has to maintain cost records. Maintain cost records compulsorily. This is a mandatory compliance. I hope in this you will not have any doubt. Now, if we come for rule 4, in rule 4, we have a bifurcation for regulated sectors and non-regulated sectors. And in these regulated sectors, we have two. One is overall turnover should be more than or equal to 50 crores and individual products turnover should be more than or equal to 25 crores. Where in the immediate preceding financial year. Now, this is for regulated sectors. First, when we are going for calculation or to finding out rule for applicability, first we will start with the regulated sectors turnover limits. And for that, how we are going to do the assessment? First, we'll check with the overall turnover. If overall turnover is more than 50 crores, then one rule is okay, satisfied. But here, the between it is not or, it is and. So both 1 and 2 should be applicable. So overall turnover is more than or equal to 50 crores. Okay, one is satisfied. Now we'll move to the individual products and services. Now, this individual products and services will not only check about regulated sector products. No, both regulated sectors and non-regulated sector, whatever products and services are there, for that the turnover should be more than or equal to 25 crores. If this both are satisfied, then the cost audit has to be done only for regulated sector products only. Only for table A products, cost audit should be done. If this is satisfied, for all the products and services, the records should be maintained. But audit should be done only for regulated sector products. Next, we'll go for non-regulated sector products. Now, for non-regulated sectors, overall annual turnover should be, and this is annual turnover, you have to remember that. Overall annual turnover should be more than or equal to 100 crores. And individual products, which means both the table A and table B products combinedly, how it should be? It should be more than or equal to 35 crores. If both these are satisfied, then for non-regulated sector products also cost audit should be done. Now, if all the four limits are satisfied, which means that company will have regulated sectors, products and services, non-regulated sectors, products and services, and other products and services will also be there. So, if rule 3 and rule 4 is completely satisfied, cost records should be maintained for overall entity, and for rule 4 also, for overall entity, cost audit should be done. I hope it is clear for you now. So whatever you have asked as, if rule 4 table A and table B, all the limits are satisfied, do they have to do the cost audit for the entire entity, products and services? Yes, they have to do it. I hope it is clear to you, Shri. Good afternoon, Balaji. Good afternoon. So I hope it is clear now. Now we will go for the day 4 target. Now what is our day 4 target? Audit of different service organizations. So first we will start with audit of different service organizations. Now coming to this particular unit, it is very important unit from the examination perspective of CMA final. Now in this particular unit, what it is there? Shri, thank you ma'am, clear. You're welcome, Shri. I'm glad that your doubt is clarified. Now this audit of different service organizations is very important for the examination point of view. And many students of CMA final, what they think is, okay, this is about different service organizations. We have already come across this in the CMA Inter. In CMA Inter, you already have audit portion. In that, you have come across audit of educational institutions, audit of hotels, audit of hospitals. Regarding this, we have already come across. Okay, we'll remember the common points 5 to 6 and we'll attempt that in the examination and we'll get 7 marks. Many students have this mentality that they think that they will get easy marks if they are just writing and coming common points. But no. When you are being a CMA finalist, the examiner or the corrector of your examination paper, whoever it is there, they will not expect common points from you at all. Whatever common points are there, what's the use or benefit if you are just writing about common points? No. They will want from you what are the different points for each and every audit. They need that from you. And if you are remembering and writing that in the examination, then you will get the fullest marks of 7 marks. If you are just writing common points, max to max, you will get 2 marks for the entire concept or the entire answer. That's it. You will not get 7 marks from this particular unit. And this is not to be excluded from your portion. No, you have to definitely read this unit because a compulsory question will be tested from audit of different service organizations. Now, if you see the entire Super 50 sheet, how I have given all the concepts. Ma'am, why all the concepts you are giving? Now, what's the point of giving all the concepts in Super 50 and telling us to do all the concepts revision? Because this unit is important. I can't tell that you have to learn only audit of hospitals and audit of educational institutions. This only will be tested in the examination. No, it's not that kind of case. If you see our Pinnacle book, you'll get a clear idea. See Unit 3, Audit of Different Service Organizations. Now, how questions have been framed in the previous attempt. See now, in December 2024, what they have asked for. List out the important points to be considered while conducting the audit of hospitals. Or it can be framed as, what are the points to be considered while performing an audit of hospitals? So, regarding audit of hospitals, it has been tested in December 2024. Now, if we come to question number 2, audit of educational institutions and for educational institutions and students. How it is that? Bifurcate and give us. Discuss the steps involved in the audit of educational institutions. This has been tested in December 2023 attempt and MQP of December 24 attempt. It also a board material question. So audit of hospitals is covered. Audit of educational institutions is covered. Now, if we see question number 3, this is a board material question. Describe the special features of cooperative societies audit. Next, if you see self-help groups audit tested in June 2024 attempt, also a board material question. In board material, they have given us write a short note on self-help groups. So regarding self-help groups also it has been tested. Now if you see MQP of December 24 and MQP of June 24, it has been tested for government expenditure audit. So government expenditure audit they have tested. So if you see from each and every point and each and every audit, the questions are being tested in the examination. So you have to rely on all the audits and get an enough clarity. Whatever audit be asked in the examination, you should be in a position to answer that. Because of which I have given all the concepts are important when you are going for Super 50 questions. Now, how you are going to attempt it and what you are going to learn from this audit of different service organizations. Now, how many type of service organizations we have in this particular unit? First is hospitals, next hotels, educational institutions, cooperative societies, self-help groups, non-government organizations, NGO, local bodies, which is municipality and panchayats, government expenditure, proprietary and government audit, and commercial accounts and government audit. So, if you see the last 3 concepts are related to government. So, you can take all these 3 concepts as one, government expenditure audit or government audit. In that government audit, we have about government expenditure, proprietary in government expenditure, and commercial accounts and government. So regarding government audit, we have one. Regarding local bodies, regarding NGOs, self-help groups, cooperative societies, educational institutions and hospitals. In this all, what questions have been tested so far? Hospitals question has been tested, educational institutions tested, cooperative societies tested, local bodies tested, government expenditure tested, NGO is also tested. So what's there to tell that okay, only hospitals and educational institutions will be tested? If you're just focusing on what have tested, what if they think that okay, these are so far tested, so in this particular attempt we'll go for cooperative societies or we'll go for self-help groups or we'll go for hotels. So far which is not being tested could be tested in the examination, or they might repeat the same question and give you in the examination. So we are not going to take a chance. We are going to see all the audits. I hope it is clear. Now, if you see audit of hospitals. Now, how an audit of hospitals will be conducted? In this audit, what all will be verified by the auditor? First, review the letter of appointment to understand the auditor's duties. First, an auditor is appointed for doing an audit of hospitals. First, you will decide what are your roles and responsibilities, what are your objectives when you are going for an audit. That's the first point. Second point, assess the ownership structure and control mechanism of the hospital. Who is the dean of that particular hospital? Who is the owner for that hospital? Who is going to make the investment? Who has invested the capital? Ownership structure and control mechanism. Who is controlling it? Next, examine key processes like admission, discharge, outpatient services, test, operations, ensuring proper control over revenue generation. Now, for hospitals, what all revenue will be there? If you're going for a hospital, if you are being admitted, admission fees will be there. If you are discharging, you have to pay the all payments. Outpatient services, which means who are not being admitted for any operation or something like that, but you are just going for a normal checkup. Outpatient services. Test, for each and every test you have to pay. For operations, separate charges will be there. So all these are nothing but the revenue generation sources for the hospital. Now, regarding all this, how the processes are being run and how these are being ensured that everything is being in the control, which means everything is being recorded in the books about the revenue generation. Regarding that, the assessment will be done and validate donations, grants, interest and dividend income. These are other source of revenue generation, not from the direct functioning of the hospital, but other than that, these are also the income sources. What are those? Donation, grants, interest, dividend income. Now, how these incomes are supporting documents, whether for all these income generation or to get that income to the hospitals, whether they are maintaining proper documents, cross-checking with the investment register. Now, all these are the revenue generation. Whether whatever the donations they have received, whether they are putting for the same purpose, special purpose for which the donations are given to the hospital, the grant is provided, whether they are using for a specific purpose or whether they are doing an investment. If investment is being done, whether it is a valid investment or not, regarding that has to be analyzed. Ensure that donations and grants are used for the designated purpose. Differentiate between capital and revenue expenditure. Check adherence to SOP, which means standard operating procedures for both capital and operating expenses. Now, whatever capital expenses are there, operating expenses are there, is there a standard procedure or they are randomly putting on the expenditure? Verify the internal controls over purchases and the issue of stores, medicines and medical equipment. What are these internal controls? Nothing but the security controls, policies and procedures within the organization. Now, we will check about the entire internal controls, but other than that, you have to specifically check about the internal controls on stores, medicines and medical equipment. Validate the appointment of staff, doctors and salary payments for accurate expense booking. So, how much expenses are being paid as a salary for staff, doctors or any other person. Physically verify investments, fixed assets and inventories. You'll go for physical verification for them and check the appropriateness of asset capitalization, depreciation rates and their reflection in the books. So how this asset capitalization is being done, how much depreciation rate is being used and how it is presented in the books of accounts. All this will be verified by the auditor when he is going for the audit of hospitals. I hope it is clear. This you have to remember each and every point and you have to write it in the examination. Now, if we see audit of hotels, whatever given in the concept book, it is wrong. Audit of hospitals has been wrongly given here, so you can strike it off. Now, where is audit of hospitals given to you? It is given in the handwritten notes. Audit of hotels, sorry. Audit of hotels is given in handwritten notes. Now, for audit of hotels, what verification will be done? First, you will check about the internal controls. Ensure controls are in place to prevent the revenue leakage and pilferage. Now, what is called as pilferage? If there is any theft. Internal people, if they are doing any theft, it is called as pilferage. So, if there is any revenue leakage or pilferage, to safeguard that, prevent that priorly, if there are internal controls, whether they are enough or not, regarding that analyzation will be done. Check effectiveness of cash handling, purchasing, billing, and inventory control for items like food, beverages, assets. Now, what are assets for hotels? Utensils. So, regarding all this, how the cash handling is being done. Validate compliance with the license. For each and everything, license will be different. For entire hotel, license will be different. If there is a bar license should be there. If there is any spa license should be there. If there is any health center inside the hotel, for that health center, a separate license will be there. So, for each and every segment of hotel, whether there is a proper license or not, regarding that they have to verify. Next, about room sales and cash collection. Verify room sales billing for the services. Example for laundry, mini bar and how is the cash collection is there. Ensure room rates and sales from various points. Like example, restaurant, bar. Match the recorded sales. Now, how much sales are happening in the restaurant, how much sales are happening in the bar and how this is being recorded in the books of accounts. Validate payments by cash, card or foreign exchange for the accuracy. So, how the payments are being made, whether it is cash, card or foreign exchange, whether it is bifurcated and recorded or not, regarding that verification will be done. Next, stock management. Regularly verify stocks like food, beverages and hotel supplies. Ensure proper documentation for stock movement. How much the stock is coming, how much the stock is going out. And validate against the kitchen orders and guest orders. Now, what are kitchen orders? For hotel, there will be a restaurant. In that restaurant, outside people, whoever will be there, they will be coming and eating in that particular hotel. There will be tables, you will be sitting there and eating it. Those are called as kitchen orders. Now, if hotel stay is there, which means rooms will be there. In that room, they will order from the room and we have to provide the room service. So, this is called as guest order. Guests will be there in the upper segment of the hotel and the whatever food is there, they have to reach them to rooms. So, that is called as guest order. So, validation should be done separately for kitchen orders and guest orders. Physical stock verification with surprise checks is crucial. This is regarding the stock. So how stocks are being used, whether there is any waste being happening, whether they are using proper stock or not, is there any outdated or which means the expiry products are being used. Regarding that, the verification should be done. Next, fixed assets and depreciation. Maintain a proper fixed asset register, noting details such as installation date, cost and depreciation. Ensure depreciation is calculated and recorded accurately. After that, labor cost and casual labor. Check records and payments accuracy for the casual labor and regular staff wages. Ensure proper attendance system are in place for the laborers. Next, conduct facility wise. For example, swimming pool or spa. How facilities are being provided. Inside the hotel, what kind of services are being provided. For that, comparison of cost versus revenue to monitor the performance and suggest the improvement. So, how much cost you are putting on a daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis for maintaining the swimming pool, spa. There will be some game zones inside that particular hotel. For that, they need to maintain. They have to put the cost. Now, how much revenue they are getting from that particular source. If cost is more and revenue is less, they have to try to make more improvement. Verify compliance with the statutory provisions and foreign exchange regulations. Review controls and payments related to foreign collaboration agencies like commission and booking arrangements. If there is any foreign customer, if they are coming to India, they will book through a agency. So they'll book a hotel, stay hotel or any other hotel, they'll book from there itself. So there will be a collaboration with the foreign agencies. So how commissions are being paid to them, and regarding booking arrangements, there should be a separate note of it. Next, what auditor has to do when he is going for audit of hotels? First, ensure customer bills match with the consumption records. Review occupancy rates and benchmark them against the similar hotels. Validate special receipts from events and facilities. For example, weddings and banquets. Cross-check wages and salaries with the number of employees. So, all this should be mandatorily done by a auditor when he is going for audit of hotels. Next, booking and travel agent payments. Inside the India, there will be travel agents or any brokers will be there. If they are bringing customers to our hotels, we need to pay commission to them. So, whether there is any proper agreement for commission basis, regarding that agreement should be analyzed. Payment from agents are recovered with the credit terms. Taxes and charges. Confirm that all applicable taxes are included in the client bills and paid accurately to the government. So, these are the audit of hotels. I hope it is clear. Next, audit of educational institutions. This educational institutions audit is bifurcated into two. One, examination of institution. Next, the examination of students. Now, how examination of institution will be done? First, we will examine the documents related to institution formation, affiliation and management structure. So, how it is formed, regarding the affiliation, who has taken it before, who was there, now who is there, and regarding the management structure, who is running the entire institution. Review trust deed, regulations or university acts for compliance with the fund monitoring, donations and expenditure approval. So, you'll review the trust deed, you'll review the regulations, you'll review the university acts for knowing about how the funds are being monitored, what kind of donations they are receiving, and how expenditure approvals are being made in the institution. Next, check the minutes of governing body meeting for resolutions affecting the financial matters. So, if anything is affecting the financial matters, for what purpose they have taken this kind of decision, that has to be done as an analysis, including bank account operations and expense approvals. Confirm grant receipt with necessary documentation. Now, whatever grant is received, this grant is received based on what purpose? Whether this grant is utilized for the same purpose or not. Regarding that, documentation should be collected. Ensure compliance with the current accounting for grant usage. Regarding that, accounting should be done on a current basis. Ensure completeness and accuracy in the receipts and payments, and verify the fund and bank balance. How receipts are being made, how much payments are being made, and what is bank balance. Reconciliation should be done. And then verify compliance with the statutory deposits like PF, taxes, affiliation fees, and filing requirements. So whatever the employees who are there, teachers who are there, for them PF payments, whether they are being made on an agreement basis, PF norms, taxes, how they are being paid, and regarding the affiliation fees. So all these to be analyzed or examined for the institution. Now regarding students, what verification has to be done? Verify the student register, whether their name, address, Aadhaar, fee structure, etc. Everything is written or not. And match them with the bank statements to ensure accuracy of fee collection. So how many students are there? 10 students. Whether from each and every student the cash has been collected or not in a bank account. Regarding that, the verification has to be done. Reconcile fees collected with counterfoiled receipts and follow up on the unpaid fees. Now, what is the receipt recorded in the books and how it is there in the bank statement? Reconciliation will be done. Student updates. Ensure timely updates to the student register for dropouts, transfers, or discontinuation. Verify fee condonation, approvals, and reconcile receivables with the received fee. So, for any students are there, they are not being able to pay 10,000 rupees. Condonation will be given. They'll only be paying 8,000 rupees. So, that condonation details should be recorded in the books. And this should be verified with the bank. Where the condonation is only recorded in the books but not taken in the bank account. Bank account you have received 10,000. But in books you have only recorded 8,000 rupees. Then you have to note that down. Admission and other fees. Track and categorize other collections like admission fee, late fee, transfer charges under appropriate account heads. And ensure hostel dues are settled before closing students' accounts and caution deposits are adjusted or refunded. So if any deposits are being taken for hostels, that deposit should be repaid. And if there is any unsettled due, you have to collect that from the students. Review rental income, bank interest from fixed deposits, and verify relevant supporting documents. So all this should be verified for the students. I hope it is clear. Now, in my concept book, I have given everything in a one particular, in a statement. And here also everything is given in a one statement. Now, if you want more points or if you think that this is too long for you to remember, you can break down the points and write it in your own handwritten notes. So that the points which I have given here are 11 points. If you are bifurcating it and writing it, you will get 20 points from this. So in the 20 points, you will revise and remember 10 points. In the 10 points, you will revise 10 points. In your examination, you will remember 6 to 7 points. That's more than enough. So I'm not telling what is exactly given here. You have to remember everything and write it in the examination. It's up to you. You can bifurcate. You can write one point to be one line. You can split down the points and write it down in your own notes. Revise it again and again. Writing in the examination 6 to 7 points or maximum to 10 points. That is more than enough. I hope it is clear. Now, next is audit of cooperative societies. So for cooperative societies, for about the overdue debts examination will be done. Now, regarding overdue debts, how overdue debts are being categorized? For 6 months to 5 years and over 5 years. Categorization is being done or not. Regarding that, verification has to be done. Next, report on classification, assessing whether provisions for doubtful debts are adequate. Now, whatever doubtful debts are there, whether provision is created or not. Third point, analyze trends in overdue debts in relation to working capital and loans. Now, how much overdue debt is pending, which means you are giving everything on a credit basis and they are being as your debt. Now, this is becoming a bad debts also sometimes, which means you are not getting a liquid cash in your hands, which is affecting your working capital, for which you are going for loans or you are trying to borrow from the other people. Now, how this bad debts or overdraft of that particular whatever credits you have paid, how it is affecting to your working capital and how you are going to take the loans. Regarding that, assessment has to be done. Evaluate actions taken for recovery and status of legal proceedings. Okay, you have tried your level best regarding that the proof of documents should be verified. Exclude overdue interest from the calculation of outstanding interest while determining the profit. When you are determining the profit, whatever outstanding interest is there, that will be eliminated from the overdue interest. So in this overdue interest, only related to principal is overdue. So if only the principal is overdue, you will eliminate the outstanding interest. Certification of bad debts. Bad debts must be certified as irrecoverable by whom? By an auditor before they can be written off. If you are going to write off the bad debts, then before writing it off, the auditor has to give a certificate of that it is a bad debt. It is irrecoverable. Bad debt funds or reserve funds. The managing committee must authorize write-offs where no legal requirement exists. If this particular person has to do the write-off, if there is no rule, then managing committee will decide about that. Valuation of assets and liabilities. Follow general accounting and auditing principle for asset valuation. Normally, whatever procedures are there, based on that, how assets are being valued. That will be verified. Next, verify existence, ownership, and valuation of assets. Ensuring fixed assets are valued at cost minus depreciation. Record liabilities accurately, ensuring all known liabilities are accounted. So first, you have to account whatever assets are there for that valuation based on the normal principles. Whatever liabilities are there, whether that liabilities are being recorded correctly or not. Regarding assets and liabilities, you will do the verification. And you will check about the existence. Whether in your books of accounts you have written about an asset, whether it is properly there in the industry or not. Or it is just a fictitious asset. You will know about that. Then, about the ownership. Whether the asset purchase or that asset ownership is there in the institute name or in the personal manager's name regarding the ownership. And next, valuation of asset. How valuation is being done. Whether it is done based on cost minus depreciation or not. Regarding this, the verification has to be done. Next, assess how well the cooperative society has met its objectives. How they are trying to meet the objectives. Ensure expenditures are justified and there is no wastage of funds. Avoid middlemen by ensuring direct purchases from the wholesalers when it is possible. Identify any infringements of Cooperative Societies Act, which means whatever provisions which are there in the Act, whether cooperative society is complying with that or not. Infringements is nothing but non-compliance. Rules and bylaws. Report the financial implication of these infringements. If because of non-compliance, is there any penalty or is there any financial implication? Regarding that, the auditor has to intimate it to the cooperative society. Examine entries in the member's passbook for loan transaction and repayment. If cooperative society is providing a loan within the members, it can provide the loan up to certain limits. So if it is providing a loan and if it is entering into a repayment of that particular loan transactions, then regarding that, you will verify it with the member's passbook. Confirm loan balances personally to ensure accuracy and prevent the manipulation. You will go and verify one-on-one personally so that there is no manipulation of accounts. Next, report serious irregularities to the registrar. Now, what kind of irregularities? Personal profiteering by the management committee members. As I have told you, some assets can be written under management name, or some loan can be taken by the member more than the prescribed limit, or is there any no member but a fictitious member is created and the loan is provided to them. So there might be some cases. If those cases are being identified when they are going for audit of cooperative societies, regarding that it has to be intimated to the registrar. Or else fraud related to expenses, purchases or properties. If there is any fraud of purchases, regarding that it has to be intimated to the registrar. Mismanagement that contradicts cooperative principles. If anything which is not complied by the Cooperative Societies Act, which is affecting the entire objective of that particular society, report it to the registrar. Inappropriate lending practices to the related parties. If loan is being provided and that too for a related party who might be a member or a non-member, if it is provided, then has to be reported to the registrar. Audit classification of society. Classification of society based on performance criteria set by the registrar. So after knowing all this, the registrar will set what is the criteria of the particular society. Management can appeal the classification if dissatisfied, prompting a review. If management doesn't like how it is classified, then it can ask for an opinion to the registrar. So it can file an appeal to the registrar that what is the review which you have given and what are the reasons for that. Regarding that can be taken care of. So these are the books required by the auditor when he is going for an audit of cooperative societies. What all? Cash book, general ledger, stock register, personal ledger, register of members, register of shares and debentures, minutes of meetings, property register, loan application register, and audit objection register. All these are the books required when they are going for audit of cooperative societies. I hope it is clear. Next, audit of SHG. Now, what is this SHG? SHG is nothing but a group of people who are coming together just for the empowerment of women who are there in the rural areas. So, for rural communities, poor women will be there. For improving their what we say, their women's development, the group will be formed. So they will be putting savings of amounts, and through that amounts they'll again take that amounts back for their own development. Those kind of societies or group of people are called as self-help groups. So self-help groups, what are the features of it? SHG serves as a unique model that combines self-management with access to affordable financial services. So here it is a combination of self-management, which means rural communities itself are coming in a group for their rural women's development. So they are trying to self-manage themselves, and they are trying to give affordable financial services, which means if they have 10 rupees, they'll come and deposit in SHG. So whenever they need, they will take that from that particular SHG. So some loans or credit facilities will be provided by SHGs itself to the rural women. The focus is on both social and economic development for the women members. So needs to have the society knowledge. At the same time, they needs to know about the economic balance. They need to have their own stand. So for that both purpose, we have SHG. How it is being formed? SHGs are formed with the support of government initiatives or non-government organizations. NGO or governments will try to establish this SHGs. They connect not only with the banks but also with the broader development programs to enhance their impact. So they will have the connections with the banks or any other financial institutions so that they'll try to improve the economic development of rural women. SHGs offer significant economic benefits. How economic benefits are being provided? Such as access to credit. They'll provide credit facilities. They'll provide saving facilities. Rural women, whatever they are earning, they can come and save. And income generating activities. So through that they'll get the interest. Through that they'll get some money back. They foster social empowerment by promoting collective decision making and enhancing the social status of a woman. So whoever are there in that particular SHG group as a members, they will come together, take the decision for the empowerment of the rural society or rural communities women. I hope it is clear. Now how this audit will be done by the auditor. Now when we see the other audits, it will be done based on the records. But here the entire audit will be done as a field audit. Now what is different between the normal audit and a field audit? Normal audit, which means based on the books, based on the accounts, the audit will be done. Now here in the field audit, the auditor will go to that SHG place and he will do the verification by looking into that particular field, by looking into the area, by talking to the members, by talking to the women, like what kind of benefits they are getting, by checking their own records at their place. Not they will bring it to their own firm and do it. No, this is done as a field audit. So that's the main difference between normal audit and a field audit. Field audit is usually done by the SHG. Sandeep Kumar, women empowerment. Yes, women empowerment. For women empowerment, the functioning of SHG will be done. So, in this audit, first the auditor will go for a field balance sheet approach. Now, how this field balance sheet approach will be done? These are the key steps during the Oh, Sandeep Kumar has given us an example, Shrija Mahila Dairy. So yes, those kind of SHGs. Key steps during the audit process for SHG. And main importantly, I thought to tell you this, if you know the real life examples or if you can create your own examples when writing these kind of audit, not only for this particular topic I'm talking about, but any other topic. If you are knowing any example, in my regular class, I have taken lots of examples with and making understand each and every concept. Now, if you remember those examples and if you have taken my regular class, then I have suggested to my students that make a note of that examples, remember those examples and write it in the examination. If you know the real life examples, then present it in the examination. Examples are being expected by the examiners or the invigilators, whoever are there to correct your paper. They are expecting examples. Either could be your own imaginary example or a real time example. But they want to know that not only you have known the subject, but you have understood the subject to have that understanding, to make them prove that you really understand the subject. Examples are the proof. So try to give as many as examples that you know, and if you have enough time, elaborate it and write it as an example. It will fetch you more marks in the examination. Thank you, Sandeep Kumar, for making me say this. Thank you so much. Now, conduct a preliminary examination of group level records, including the cash book, review members' passbook to verify the accuracy of data entries and posting. Now, auditor will do background examination or background review. He will go there and do the examination of group level records, including the cash book and passbook of the members. And then the auditor will prepare a field balance sheet based on the SHG's internal records. He'll check about the records, he'll check about cash book, passbook, and about the entries and postings, how it has been made. And with that, he will try to prepare a field balance sheet aimed at assessing the retained earnings. So how much retained earnings are there for SHG? To know about that, he'll prepare this field balance sheet. How field balance sheet will be there? Similarly, assets and liabilities will be there. In assets, what will be there? Cash in hand, cash at bank, loan outstanding with the members, fixed deposits and fixed assets. Now for liabilities, voluntary savings, they are coming and saving in the SHG, which means the SHG has to pay them back. So it is a liability. External loan outstanding, if they have taken loan from any bank or financial institution, then they have to pay it back. So it is external loan. Equity comes to compulsory savings and retained earnings. To know how much retained earnings are there in SHG, they'll prepare a field balance sheet. I hope it is clear. Now the auditor conducts a private interview with 25% of total members to validate the information and understand about the decision making patterns within the group. So how this is being done? In the field approach, he'll go there and he will meet the members. Through that meeting, he will conduct a meeting with 25 members of the SHGs and he will talk to them. And by talking, he will try to collect the information and validate the information which is already there in the records. He'll try to do the cross verification of what they are talking about and what is recorded in the actual records. He'll do the verification. And then he'll try to understand how decisions are being taken care inside the SHG. And then if any serious issue has been identified during the audit, then he will call for the entire members meeting. The auditor holds a meeting with the entire group for further discussions and clarifications. Upon completion of audit, the auditor summarizes any weak practices that could jeopardize the savings or affect the record reliability. If due to some weak practices, if the savings are affected in SHG or if records are being non-reliable, then he will note down and make a summary out of it. Recommend for better practices will be provided. The auditor submits a field balance sheet and a summary report which is prepared here to a microfinance institution or a bank and all group members, adding comments to assess in the credit provision decisions. So at last he will provide a field balance sheet as well as the summarization which he has taken, and he will provide it to a bank if the bank is operating SHG, which means if any bank or financial institution or any other microfinance institution has given the benefit for SHG, then it will be submitted to them and to the all members. So he will give the suggestion. Okay, these are the weakness points in the particular SHG. You can improve this and this particular thing. You can do all this. So this is about the audit of self-help groups. I hope it is clear. Sandeep Kumar, Kudumbashri model, Kerala. So thank you, Sandeep Kumar. Sandeep is giving us lots and examples. So if you want, you can do the research about this and you can note this down as Sandeep has told. So in this particular book itself, you can note it down and you can write these examples in the examination. Thank you, Sandeep, for giving the examples. Now, concept number 7, audit of NGOs, non-government organizations. NGOs are defined as a non-profit organization that raise funds from the members, donors, or contributions. And they often receive donations in various forms to achieve their social objectives. So how these NGOs will run? NGOs will run based on the funds which are raised through members or from the donations or from the contributions. So this is regarding NGOs framework, how NGOs can be established either through Societies Regulation Act or Indian Trust Act or under Companies Act 2013 under Section 8. The NGO can be established. Now this is about audit planning and all. Now in NGOs, what verification has to be done? Verify agreements and grant letters to ensure proper accounting for funds are received. Whether for all the agreements are there, whether grant letters are there, and that whether it is there in the document format, everything is being recorded or not. Ensure foreign contributions are deposited in the designated foreign contribution bank account under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 1976. If you are getting any donations from foreign exchange and if you are having any foreign contributions, that should be deposited in a separate bank account which is called as Foreign Contribution Bank Account according to the regulations under Foreign Contribution Act. That should be verified. Then S is the internal control system for fund collection, ensuring daily deposits of collected funds. Now whatever funds are there, for funds what all policies and procedures are there. Regarding that the verification will be done. And if fund is collected, whether it is being deposited on correct basis or not. Regarding that also assessment will be done. Check fees against the membership register and ensure correct classification of fees received. If there is any NGO and NGO's members are there, they'll collect membership fee. Regarding that, whether a membership register is maintained and how fees are being collected. Reconcile subscriptions with the corresponding magazine or circular distributions and check the receipts against the subscription rate. So whatever they have prepared as a prospectus or a magazine or a circular, in that circular, how many subscriptions they thought to make first and what is the rate of subscription, whether they have made that or is there any changes. If there is any changes, what's the reason behind it. Verify interest and dividend receivable with investment held during the year. What interest are received, how dividends are received, and how investments are being made. So regarding all this, the auditor will do the verification of NGO. I hope it is clear. Now next, audit of local bodies. Now what are local bodies? Nothing but there are rural local bodies and urban local bodies like panchayats and municipalities. Now what these panchayats and municipalities will work for? They will work for the development of that particular area. So they will try to plan and execute the work progress in that particular area. Now salient features of financial administration of local bodies. You can see about this, how local bodies will work for. But here, audit program for local bodies. How audit should be done? Miss Universe. Audit program for local bodies. The audit program should comprehensively address the following aspects. What all should be done in an audit of local bodies? Verify that all expenditures have been sanctioned by a competent authority. Whether for that local body, whatever sanction is there, whether it is made by a competent authority or not, regarding that verification will be done. Ensure that expenditure align with provisions and regulations established by the competent authority. Evaluate whether various schemes, programs and projects are being run economically and whether their objectives are being met or not. Which means for what amount it is being made, that amount should be done on an economic basis. Which means if you are doing any particular expenditure. How you will do? You will not recklessly, if I am giving you 100 rupees, you will not recklessly do 100 rupees expenditure. Yes or no? You will think whether this is right or wrong, and based on a decision making pattern, you will do the expenditure of 100 rupees. So similarly, whatever schemes they are working on, whatever programs they are working on, and whatever projects they are working on, they have to check whether it is economically feasible or not. And if it is economically possible and it is okay, then they have to go for that particular project. So regarding this, the audit has to be done for local bodies. I hope it is clear. Now, audit of government expenditure. Now, who will do the audit of government expenditure? CNAG, Controller and Auditor General of India. He will do the expenditure. Now, what will be assessed by the government expenditure audit? What will be assessed by CNAG in government expenditure audit? Ensure that all expenditures comply with the relevant statutory provisions and financial regulations. Whatever government is doing as an expenditure, it should be based on statutory provision and financial regulation. The auditor verifies that the expenditure align with the established financial rules set forth by a competent authority. So there will be rule that this should be only for this particular purpose and this should be there on this particular purpose. We will have a budget. Based on that only the expenditure is being done or not. Verify that every item of expenditure is authorized by a competent authority. The order checks that the expenditure have received either a general or a special sanction before they are incurred. So they have to bring a sanction. Based on that only they have to do the expenditure. Confirm that there is a adequate funds available for the expenditures incurred. So if you are doing an expenditure, the fund should be available. Without fund availability, if you are doing the expenditure, then that's no use of future development. You have to think about current as well as future, and based on that you have to take the decision of expenditure. The auditor ensures that the expenditure does not exceed the allocated budget and is made from the authorized funds. Evaluate the appropriateness and rationale behind the expenditure. So is this appropriate? Is this needed at this particular point of time? Is this rational? Which means if I am putting 10 rupees for a product, if I am putting up for a project some 10 crore rupees for a project development, is it worthful? After putting this cost, will there be any benefit to the society? If benefit is not more than the cost incurred, then that has not to be done. The auditor assesses whether the expenditures have been incurred with a due regarding to the financial propriety, aiming to identify improper or avoidable spending. If it conforms to existing rules, even if you are following rules and making the expenditure, auditor will do the assessment whether that particular expenditure is it worthful or not. If it is going for an overspending or an improper expenditure, then even if it is based on the rules, that is not being allowed by the auditor. So you might think that okay, this is as per rules, so we'll go for expenditure. No, if it is improper and if it is an avoidable expenditure, that should not be committed. The focus is on economy, wisdom and effectiveness of the transaction. Even if it is within the rules, there should be effectiveness of transaction, there should be a wisdom, and there should be a benefit for the economy. If these three are there, only then government expenditure should be done. Regarding that, the assessment will be done by the auditor. Assess the efficiency and effectiveness of the government programs, schemes and projects. How effective and efficient they are. This involves examine whether large financial expenditures yield the desired results. If you are putting an expenditure, whether it is giving you benefit or not. Identify opportunities for greater economy and effectiveness. You are trying to improve the entire economy. If that's the case, do the expenditure. Perform audits, provide insights into the operational efficiency of programs and suggest the improvement. So based on operational efficiency, you will do the assessment and you will give the suggestions for the improvement. So all these are the government expenditure audit, which has to be assessed by the CNAG. I hope it is clear. Now next is proprietary audit. As we have seen priorly also in management audit, what does it mean by proprietary audit? Whether expenditure, whatever am I doing, whether that expenditure is the worthful expenditure or not. Is there any avoidable expenditure? If I have an avoidable expenditure, which means it is not needed at this point of time. So whether whatever I am putting as a money, whether this is a wish to worth expenditure or not. Regarding that, the assessment is called as proprietary audit. Proprietary audit is a specialized audit focus that examines whether public funds are being spent appropriately and in alignment with the established standards of financial propriety. So based on public funds, that funds has to be spent appropriately. Whether appropriately those are being spent or not. Regarding that, assessment is called as proprietary audit. While expenditures may conform to existing rules and regulations, proprietary audit seeks to uncover instances of improper, avoidable, or infractious spending. Reckless spending, avoidable spending, improper spending, regarding everything is there or not. That is going to be the assessment of proprietary audit, even if it is based on the existing rules and regulations. So in this audit, what audit will be done? Expenditure should not exceed what is necessary for the occasion. Public officers are expected to exercise the same level of prudence in spending public money as an ordinary person would with their own funds. So what proprietary audit is telling? Whoever the public officer is there, who is going to go for a spending, if he is doing the spending from his own expenditure, from his own funds, how carefully he will do the expenditure, in the same way he should do the expenditure of the government funds also. So they are expected to exercise the same level of prudence in spending public money as an ordinary person would with their own funds. The focus is on avoiding excessive or unjustified expenditure. Authorities should not approve expenditure that directly or indirectly benefit themselves. This principle is crucial in maintaining ethical standards in public financial management. In the first point, proprietary audit will do the assessment whether there is any improper or avoidable expenditure and whether the expenditure is justifiable for that particular occasion. In the next step, we are going to do the assessment. Whatever expenditure is being done, directly or indirectly, it should not give a benefit to individual. It should give the benefit to the entire society. This principle is crucial for maintaining ethical standards in the public financial management. Expenditure should be sanctioned without personal bias or a conflict of interest. Public funds should not be used for the benefit of individual or specific group unless otherwise. We have exceptions for that. If the expenditure is insignificant, the claim can be legally enforced. The spending aligns with recognized policies or customs, and allowances should be regulated to prevent them from becoming a source of profit for the recipients. If we are taking a better care that whatever allowances we are providing, it is not for the profit of 1% recipient. If it is not giving any profit to the recipient, but it is just as an allowance, then you can provide that particular expenditure, put that expenditure even if it is getting a benefit. And the spending should align with the policies and customs. The claim should be legally enforceable and the expenditure should be insignificant. If all these conditions are met, then the fund, whatever it is provided, it can give the benefit of an individual or a specific group. I hope it is clear. Now next is audit of commercial accounts. This is very simple. The government will work on many commercial bases, like there could be departmental expenditures, like government will have different departments and factories like defense factories or mints. For this development, government will require to do the expenditure, and there could be statutory corporations under the government like LIC or oil marketing companies, or the government can go for a government company, which is nothing but the incorporated under Companies Act 2013. So governed by the same provisions as a private company but operates under the oversight of government. So the government can get into commercial accounts like departmental enterprises or statutory corporations or government companies. Now how the audit of commercial accounts in government basis has to be done? Based on these only. So if there are any departmental entities, how government departments will do the audit, based on that only the audit will be done. And for statutory corporations, for each and everything we have a statute. For LIC we have insurance statute, and for banking we have banking regulations, and For any other company, we have Companies Act 2013. So based on that only the audit will be done. And for government companies, subject to the provisions of Companies Act 2013, the audit will be done. Simple how the audit will be done. Based on that particular basis, the audit will be done for audit of commercial accounts. I hope it is clear. So this is the entire unit of audit of different service organizations. So you have to remember all the audits because one audit will definitely be tested in the examination. I hope it is clear. Do you have any doubts? Any doubts from the audit of different service organizations? Is it clear? Is everything clear? If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat box. If you have no doubts, then we can move to the forensic audit section D. Banateja, clear, ma'am. Thank you, Banateja. What about others? Is everything clear? Guys, I need your reply in the chat box. Please be active in the chat box. Okay. Why? What happened? No reply in the chat box. Only Banu Teja has given me as a clear reply. Now, we are moving on to the forensic audit, which is section D. In section D, we have two units. Saravanan and D. Clear, ma'am. Thank you, Saravanan. So, now I'm getting the reactions. 100 reactions. Okay, thank you. Now we are moving on to the section D, which is forensic audit and anti-money laundering. Now, if you see, this is a new syllabus units. Forensic audit and anti-money laundering are from our new syllabus. And in all syllabus, we doesn't have any concept of forensic audit or anti-money laundering. So, I have summarized and given you the Super 50 questions, expecting this would be the questions in the examination, or so far how questions have been framed. To make you clear about that, I have given you these questions. Priya, clear, ma'am. Thank you so much, Priya. Now we are moving on to the forensic audit. Whenever you are going to write a question from forensic audit or anti-money laundering, the definition is very, very important. First, you have to write the definition. Now, what is forensic audit? Forensic audit is an in-depth examination of individuals or organizations' financial records to collect evidence that can be used in the legal proceedings. Forensic audit will begin with the suspicion and doubt and ends with the performance of investigation procedures. This will be your definition or introduction. What is forensic audit? Forensic audit is an in-depth examination of individuals or organizations' financial records to collect evidence that can be used in the legal proceedings. Forensic audit will begin with suspicion and doubt, and it will end with the performance of investigation procedures. I hope it is clear. So you can also write that forensic audit is nothing but a process of analysis and review of financial records to detect any illegal action, manipulation of books of accounts, and the siphoning of funds of company or a person to extract facts which can be used in the court of law. You can write both. Any of the thing which you feel comfortable, you can write it. But I would suggest this. It is nothing but an in-depth examination of individual or organization's financial records to collect evidence that could be used in the legal proceedings. It will begin with suspicion and doubt and end with the performance of investigative procedures. I hope it is clear. Now, what is question number 1? We'll see question number 1. Question number 1 is from concept number 6, tested in MQP of December 24 attempt and December 2023 attempt. Now what is the question? In a company, the management on a source information is of a view that there is an embezzlement of cash receipt. As a forensic auditor, how would you proceed to verify? So what are the procedures of forensic audit investigation? How we are going to investigate about that particular embezzlement? As a forensic auditor, how you are going to find it out? Discuss the 9 steps involved in the investigation methodology of a forensic audit. So here, in the second question, they have clearly mentioned about the 9-step methodology or investigation methodology of a forensic audit. Now, I have received many queries from the students that we have 2 concepts from forensic audit. Now, what are those 2 concepts? One concept is about investigation methodology of forensic audit, in which we will be discussing about 5 steps of investigation methodology. And we have another topic right after that, which is called as 9-step method for fact finding in case of forensic audit engagement. Now, if you are going for a fact finding procedure, it is also an investigative procedure. And if you come to the previous one, it is called as an investigation methodology. Now, you have to clearly understand how the question is being framed in the examination. If in the question, they have clearly mentioned about a 9-step methodology or 9-step fact-finding procedure of investigation of forensic audit engagement, then you have to write a 9-step methodology only. But not, they have only asked about an investigation methodology, then you can write this 5 steps investigation methodology. I hope it is clear. Now we are going to discuss the 2. First, we are going to discuss about the investigation methodology of forensic audit. First, accepting the investigation. First step is accepting the investigation. The auditor should do the assessment about his own experience and knowledge and check whether he is competent to take up that particular assignment or not. If he is well aware and confident that yes, he will be able to collect the evidence which would be presented in the court of law. If he is very sure about the audit can be done, the fraud can be identified and the evidence can be gathered, then only he will go for acceptance of the engagement. So that is the first step, accepting the investigation. Forensic audit is assigned to an independent firm or group of investigators so that there will be an unbiased or truthful investigation. First step in this forensic audit is determining whether they have necessary tools, skills and expertise to go forward with the investigation. Sorry. So first, forensic auditor has to do the assessment whether he is capable or competent enough to go for the investigation. Do assessment for own training and knowledge of fraud detection. If he is satisfied that yes, I'll be able to find out the evidence for the fraud which can be used in the court of law, then only go ahead and accept the investigation. So this is the first step. Now second step, planning the investigation. In this, they will go for a planning of investigation. Ascertain the goal of audit being conducted. Now he will find out what is the goal of that particular audit. Now, goal can be of 3. Now, what will be the goal of forensic audit? He will decide in this forensic audit for what purpose he is going for an investigation. Whether he is going for an investigation of asset misappropriation, which means whether there is any cash theft, company funds are used for fraudulent payments, is there any billing fraud, is there any payroll fraud, is there any theft of inventory from the company, or is there any misuse of assets. This could be a one goal for forensic audit. Or else, he will decide whether the goal is a financial statements fraud, whether he is going to analyze and collect the evidence for the fraud of financial statements, or else is he going for corruption, or he is going for the analysis of corruption. Even in corruption, we have 3 kinds. Is it conflict of interest? Is it extortion? Is it bribery? Now, what is the goal of audit? He will decide that in stage 2 of planning the investigation. Then he will determine the procedure to achieve it. So for the financial statements fraud, he needs to have a proper collection of records of financial statements. He will decide who has prepared these financial statements and all. If it is corruption, he will go for an interview of different persons. Now, what is the characteristics? He'll try to find it out. So he will prepare an entire procedure to achieve it. Then use effective tools and techniques for doing the procedure, doing the planning. Now, identify the type of fraud, identify fraudsters involved, how long it's been operating, how fraud has been concealed, financial loss suffered by the client, gather evidence to proceed in the court, and provide advice to prevent recurrence of fraud. All these are the activities to be done in the entire audit process. So this entire audit procedure will be analyzed by the auditor and fixed by the auditor when he is in the planning stage itself. He'll decide how every stage should be done. Next is gathering of evidence. Now, if we come to this planning the investigation, they will decide what tools and techniques to be used in the audit. And in our syllabus, we have a one tool of forensic audit investigation, which is called as fraud triangle. In this fraud triangle, we have three sides or three elements. These are the three common elements of fraud triangle. One is sorry for my throat. Now, in fraud triangle, we have three common elements. One is pressure, which is also called as an incentive. Second is called as opportunity, and third is called as rationalization or justification. So there are three common elements. So regarding these three common elements, I hope that you already know about pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. So you can write here that they can use proper tools and techniques. So there is a one tool or technique which is used by the forensic auditors in the investigation, which is called as a fraud triangle. Now, in the third stage, they'll go for gathering of evidence. Now, in this gathering of evidence, what will be done? Review of public documents and conducting background investigation or doing background checks, conducting detailed interviews, gathering information from trustworthy sources, conducting surveillance, going undercover, analyzing financial statements, and analyzing of whatever evidence is gathered. So all this will be done in stage 3 of gathering the evidence. Next, stage 4, they'll go for reporting. Now, who will do the reporting? The audit team members, whoever are there, they will do the reporting. Audit investigating and gathering evidence, investigating team. After investigating and gathering evidence by the investigating team, they will submit a report. In that report, what will be the contents? What is the findings of investigation? Whether there is any summary of evidence collected. Conclusions about loss suffered by the fraud. How fraud was planned and how it is unfolded. Whole trial of events. Suggestions to prevent fraud in the future. All this will be the contents of a report, which will be given as a reporting by the investigating team. Next, at last will be the court proceedings. So, auditors will be called to a jurisdictional court to lay down the facts and findings as the early understanding. So, this is the 5 steps methodology or investigation methodology in the case of forensic audit. What is it? First, accepting the investigation. Next, planning the investigation. Third, gathering of evidence. Fourth, reporting. And fifth is court proceedings. I hope it is clear. If they are not specifying about 9 steps, then you will write this 5-step procedure. Now, if they are asking about how you are going to uncover it, how you are going to find it out, as they have asked you. Embezzlement of cash receipt. So, regarding that process, how would you proceed to verify? So, they have just asked about how would you proceed to verify, and in the next thing, they have asked about 9 steps involved in the investigation methodology. Then, you will go for this 9-step method of fact finding. Now, what is 9-step methodology? First is accepting forensic audit engagement. Same thing, whatever we have in 5 points, those 5 points are there here also, but additional to that, we have 4 points. Now, first point is accepting of audit engagement. Second, evaluating the allegation or suspicion, which means you have got a which means the management or the organization is asking you that there is a fraud which is happening in that particular entity. Now, you are going as a forensic auditor to uncover the fraud or the error which has been happened in the organization. Now, first you will decide whether you have to accept the investigation or not. Second, you will evaluate the allegation or suspicion, whether the particular thing for which you have called up a forensic auditor, whether the organization is putting an allegation or is it a suspicion or actually there is a fraud which is happening. You will understand that. If it is just based on an allegation or it is just a suspicion, then you will verify. Okay, if If there is a suspicion, then what's the reason behind suspicion? Is it just because of your personal grudges that you have called a forensic auditor or appointed a forensic auditor, or is there an actual suspicion that fraud is committed? That is the second step. Third step, conduct due diligence and background notes. You will do the background verification of the industry. Fourth, complete the preliminary stage of investigation. You will entirely do the preliminary stage of investigation, which means taking the reports of all the auditors, doing the assessment about the company's internal controls, all that will be done. Next, fifth, check prediction, assuming that there is a litigation. You will act on a professional skepticism basis. Think everything on a doubtful manner and check whether there is a litigation. Sixth, begin with external investigations. You will do the investigation from the external things. Next, gather required proof and evidence. Prepare a report of findings, and at last, court proceedings. So these are the 9-step fact-finding methodology for forensic audit. I hope it is clear. We have completed question number 1. Now, question number 2. What is question number 2? Question number 2 from concept number 7, June 2024 examination and also board material question. What is the need for forensic audit? Explain the need for forensic audit procedure. Now, for any entity, why forensic audit has to be conducted? Need for forensic audit. Forensic audit is nothing but an early warning signal of fraud. Because how forensic audit will be started? It will begin with a suspicion or doubt, and it will end with investigation procedures. So because there is a suspicion, because we are getting a doubt that there is a fraud happening, we are calling for a forensic audit. Now, we don't know whether actual fraud has happened or not. If we have a suspicion, why to waste that? We will take our necessary steps to prevent. If nothing has happened, we'll at least know whether everything is correct in our organization or not. If there is any weakness, we'll try to strengthen that. If there is actual fraud, we'll try to rectify that fraud. So it is nothing but an early warning signal of fraud. And it is done to detect fraud and determine the organization needs. Few instances of occurrence of which the entity may direct for the forensic audit. When forensic audit can be commenced by an entity, if they have a suspicion or doubt. Now, this suspicion or doubt can be of different cases. What? First, there is a theft of business information where business systems have been hacked. Either the systems have been hacked or the information has been stolen. In that case, forensic audit can be commenced. Issues identified by a whistleblower. Now, who is called as a whistleblower? Whistleblower is nothing but an employee of the organization. In his good faith, he is trying to report on a fraud happening in the organization. That particular individual is called as a whistleblower. Okay. So, if any issues have been identified by a whistleblower, in that case also you will commence a forensic audit. And reconciliation results are gotten, and there is an unidentifiable material difference. So, whatever reconciliation you have done, there is a difference between both the records, and that is the unidentifiable difference, which means the reason for the difference we are not able to get that. Suspicion of fraud or illegal activity. Turnover and balances are showing negative results. In all these instant occurrences, a forensic audit can be commenced by an organization. And about the forensic audit procedures. Now, forensic audit includes both investigation and the collection of evidence. And forensic audit should be conducted with an attitude of professional skepticism. So, these are the procedures to be taken in the forensic audit. How forensic audit should be conducted? First, it should be based on a professional skepticism. Now, what is called as professional skepticism? Auditors to have a questioning mindset, critically assess the evidence, and remain alert to potential misstatements due to fraud or error. It follows a structured and logical methodology using scientific approach. This is our second procedure. Second, we'll go for a scientific approach to identify any kind of fraud. Now, what is scientific approach? Involves planning, data collection, analysis, verification, conclusion, and reporting. So, based on whatever steps the organization will usually take, we are going to take up those steps to do the to find out the evidence. Planning, data collection, analysis, verification, conclusion, and reporting. It is called as a scientific approach. And third, forensic auditors will use an advanced data analytics tools to examine large volume of financial and operational data of data irregularities. So if there are any irregularities in the data, and that too of a large volume of transactions, to verify that he can use data analysis tools. Includes trend analysis, checking numerical abnormalities, extracting hidden fraud indicators, matching transaction across systems. For all these purposes, he can use data analysis tools. Or else, at last, he can use fraud investigation techniques or tools. We have one tool which is called as fraud triangle. Address three common elements which is called as incentive or pressure, or motive, attitude, and opportunity. Attitude is also called as rationalization. So, incentive, motive, or pressure, three are same. You can write any of these three. Attitude or rationalization, you can write any of those two. And the opportunity. So, we have three common elements of fraud. So, this is the four procedures which can be followed when they are going for a forensic audit procedures. First, there will be a professional skepticism. Second, they'll go for scientific approach. Third, they will go for advanced data analysis tools. And fourth, they will use proper tools and techniques for forensic audit. I hope it is clear. So, this is about the forensic audit procedure. First, you'll write the need of forensic audit. Then, you'll write about forensic audit procedures. I hope it is clear. Question number 2 was done. Now, question number 3. Question 3, explain the investigation techniques used in the forensic accounting. MQP of board material question. Now, these are investigation techniques which are used in forensic accounting. Don't get confused. Investigation methodology is different. 9-step fact-finding process is different. Screen not working. Screen means which screen? Am I stuck? Oh, sorry. Sandeep Kumar, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know. Because now it's working. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's working. Thank you for letting me know. Now, the students have to understand the question clearly. One is investigation. Now it's clear, ma'am. Bhanuteja, thank you. Thank you so much. So, yes, investigation methodology is different. 9-step fact-finding procedure is different. Investigation technique is different. Now, when they are going for investigation, what techniques can be used? What tool can be used? Fraud triangle is a one kind of tool which can be used. Now, what are investigation techniques? We have seen the step 3, which is called as gathering of evidence. In step 3, gathering of evidence, what all points are there? Those points are the investigation techniques. What are those? Reviewing public documents and conducting a background check. Conducting detailed interviews. Gathering information from trustworthy sources. Conducting surveillance. Going undercover. And analyzing the financial statements. This is also given in my handwritten notes also. Investigation techniques of forensic accounting. So you have to note down what is the question. Question given, you have to clearly understand what question is given. If they are asking about investigation techniques, then you will write this. If they are asking about investigation tool, then you will write about fraud triangle. If they are asking about investigation methodology, then you'll write 5-step. If they're asking about 9-step methodology, then you'll write 9-step process. If they're asking about fact-finding procedure, then also you'll write about 9-step methodology. So they might test you with twisting of questions, but you have to be very clear with the question. I hope it is clear. Question number 3 is done. Now, question number 4. Now, what is question number 4? Concept number 18, and it has been tested in June 2023 attempt. You have been asked by the management of the company to formulate a policy regarding the whistleblowing activity that is currently prevalent in the company. What are the points to be considered when you are forming a policy regarding a whistleblowing mechanism? Now, from where this question has been tested, we have a concept called as ethical issues in business. Now, what are these ethical issues in business? Now, we have told that based on a suspicion, a forensic audit will be commenced. Now, we are talking about business ethical issues, which means if there are these ethical issues in a business, which means business is not running properly. There is some kind of bad which is happening in the organization. So we have a concept called as ethical issues in business. So in this, we have different points. In that, we have a point called as whistleblowing and social media content. From here, they have been asking a question. So you have to depend upon this entire topic of concept number 18, which talks about ethical issues in business. Now, what are called as ethical issues in business? First point, understanding ethical standards. So first, what? Business should, between the employees or employees, between the management or the company, always there should be an integrity and trust. Now, what is integrity? Straightforwardness, being honest, being loyal, and there should be a trust. Always. Now, who will build this trust system? Who will build this loyalty? Who will build this straightforwardness? If management are following all this, then automatically employees and the workers who are there in the organization, they'll also follow this. So, always there should be a integrity and trust between the employees, customers, and stakeholders. That has to be taken care by the organization. If they are not taken care of, then it is an ethical issue. Second point, diversity and inclusion. Always whatever the employees are thinking about, whatever stakeholders are thinking about, different shareholders are thinking about, they have to include everything. Accommodate diverse perspectives and backgrounds is vital. As is empathetic decision making that aligns with the core value. Why you need to have a persons of different perspective? The organization should understand about different knowledge people. And it has to take all the knowledge. It has to take all the inputs. Only then the decision making will be done correctly. So there should be a diversity and inclusion. Next, compliance and governance. They have to govern everything. They have to follow everything. And they have to follow the compliance. All rules, regulations, laws, everything should be complied with. Organization should ensure that their governance structure reflect ethical standards and compliance requirements. So if all these three are followed by an organization, which means it is free from ethical issue. If it is not complying with this, then there is an ethical issue in the business. If there is an ethical issue, which means some kind of fraud or error is definitely happening in the organization and they have to go for a forensic audit. Next, second is harassment and discrimination in the workplace. Now, we have a law which is called as US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Each and every organization has to work on the rules and laws which are provided by this commission, which means they have told us about the anti-discriminative laws. So in the organization, definitely there should be anti-discriminative laws, which means above the age, above 40 years, protection should be given. Disability, physical, mental disabilities, everyone should be treated as the same. Equal pay should be given irrespective of male, female, this religion, that religion, no. Equal pay should be given. Pregnancy facilities should be provided. Race and ethnicity, religion, sex and gender identity. All this should not be bifurcated, which means if you are this, then you will get this benefit. If you are this, you will get this benefit. No. No discrimination will be there. These are anti-discriminative laws. And then health and safety in workplace. In the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is called as OSHA, each and every organization have to focus on safe working conditions. They have to have all this in their particular organization, like fall protection, hazard communication, scaffolding, respiratory protection, lockout and tagout procedures, powered industrial tucks, ladder safety standards. All these should be there in their organization as a safety in workplace, which is called as health and safety in workplace. If organization is not having any of this, which means there is an ethical issue in the business. Next, psychosocial risk and mental health. Always the organization should focus on mental health of the employees. If they are putting so much pressure on employees, which means there is an ethical issue. They are not concentrating on the mental health of the individuals, which can damage their health and the organization also. Next, whistleblowing and social media content. Now, who is a whistleblower? Whistleblower is a person, often an employee, who reveals information about the activity within a private or public organization that is deemed illegal, immoral, illicit, unsafe, or fraudulent. Whistleblowing means calling attention to wrongdoing that is occurring within the organization. So something bad is happening in the organization in a good faith. He is trying to give a report about it, about something wrongdoing in the organization. It could be illegal, immoral, illicit, unsafe, or fraudulent. Regarding any of this, if he is passing out any information, then that person is called as a whistleblower. So regarding this, you have to write. Whistleblower is an employee or individual who reports illegal, unethical, unsafe activities in the organization. Whistleblowing helps expose fraud, misconduct, and violations of law or ethical standards. Methods of reporting. Reporting to supervisor or higher management. Sorry, madam, working fine now. It's okay. You have told. Sorry, Balaji. Using a hotline or internal reporting system. So if you have that code system, so if something fraud is happening, you will tell red code, green code, black code. So if you have that hotline system or internal reporting system, based on that the reporting can be done. Informing an inspector general or a regulatory authority. These are the methods of reporting. Now, when a person is called as a whistleblower and there is a whistleblowing activity which is happening inside the organization, there should be a legal protection to that particular employee, which means whistleblowers are protected from a jobless, harassment, or victimization. If they are coming and reporting about a wrongdoing in the organization, they should be protected from the law, which means if he is coming, he should not have a fear of losing his job. He should not be harassed or he should not be victimized, which means you are coming and telling about someone wrongdoing because of your own grudge, because you have some jealousy on that particular individual, you have some grudge on that person, because of which you are coming and reporting about the wrongdoing. It should not be done like that. If a person is acting as a whistleblower, then he will be protected from law. He will not be jobless. There will be no harassment or there will be no victimization. It is legally recognized as a making a disclosure in a public interest. Employer's role. What is the employer's role? Encourage employees to report the wrongdoing. Ensure a confidential and secure reporting mechanism. Whistleblowing policy guidelines. The management should set a written policy outlining procedures for handling whistleblower disclosures. Clearly define who is protected under the policy. Outline how reports will be handled fairly and transparently. Specify protections for whistleblowers against the retaliation, which means losing the job. So all this should be given as a written policy. So if you are coming and reporting about this particular issue, then you are free from losing your job. You will not be victimized. The report should be very free and transparent. You can come and report about any of time. Everything should be given as a written policy. A well-structured whistleblowing policy promotes integrity, accountability, and transparency in an organization. So there should be a whistleblowing mechanism inside the organization. If it is not having, which means it is having an ethical issue. Then about the accounting practices. Always they have to follow the proper accounting practices rather than cooking the books. Cooking the books doesn't mean throwing the books on stove, but writing everything in a falsification in the books of accounts. That is called as cooking the books. Which means if it is not there, but they are showing it is there in the books of accounts. That is called as cooking the books, not actually cooking. Then about legislative responses, they have to follow Sarbanes-Oxley Act and all the laws and provisions which are available for that particular company. Legislative response should be followed. And they needs to have a non-disclosure and corporate espionage, which means each and every organization should work on NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So there should be a mandatory NDA between the employees or any other person who is working in the organization with the management. So about the non-disclosure agreement that impose strict financial penalties for violation. So if everything is there, then that particular business is free from ethical issues. If any organization is having any of this issue, if it is not following any of this, then it is called as an ethical issue in business. I hope it is clear. So regarding this, there will be a continuation. Steps to reduce ethics risk. How to reduce this ethics risk? You will be value focused. And what is called as an effective ethics program? Freedom to question management without fear. Rewards for ethical conduct. If you're following the ethical policies, whatever are there in the organization, which means you will be rewarded. No reward for questionable practices. That doesn't mean that you will come and question to the management whatever they do. If you are they're taking any decision, why you are taking the decision? I am a whistleblower. I need to know about that. No, for that no reward will be given. Positive feedback for ethical behavior. Preparedness to address the misconduct. Willingness to seek ethics advice. So all these are the characteristics of effective ethics program. So it is nothing but given as a continuation. What is ethical issue in the business and how this should be addressed. Steps to reduce the ethics risk. What is called as an effective ethics program. And even if we are having an effective ethics program, there will be some challenges for implementing this inside the organization. Now, what challenges will be there? Now, you will think that I will bring a policy called as whistleblowing policy. I'll bring a policy for safety. I'll bring a policy for NDA, which is non-disclosure agreement inside the organization. But even though there might be challenges. First challenge is the resistance from employees. Which means employees might start think that organization is not having trust on us, because of which they are bringing all this. So employees might think that, okay, management is not trusting us. So they are putting security cameras. They are putting these rules and regulations for us. They might start think that. Now, how to resolve this challenge? To overcome this, company should focus on communication. They have to communicate with the employees that, okay, this is not because we are not trusting you, but to enhance our efficiency of organization, we are putting this policy. They have to be very clear in the communication. Second is cost of training and implementation. If I am having an effective ethics program in my company, for that I need to provide training to all my employees. For that I need to incur my cost. Now, if I'm incurring cost, will I get a return right after implementation? No, because this is about a behavior, not about a production. If I'm doing a production, after sales, I'll get some revenue. But here, I'm not doing that. I am putting a cost for ethics. Ethics are not seenable. Those are coming from the behavior of individual, behavior of the organization, and value which organization is having. That is called as ethics. Now, if I am implementing better ethics policy in my organization, I'll not get right after return. When will I get to the return? If I'm following this on a consistent basis, after 5 years, after 6 years, or after a certain period of 10 to 15 years, I'll get my return as my goodwill, as my reputation, as my brand. From that brand and reputation, I'll get the revenue. But right after implementation, I'll not get the revenue. So here there will be a clash. Cost of training and implementation, and inability to determine return of income of the ethics policy. So these are the challenges in implementing an effective ethics policy within the company. I hope it is clear. All these are connected concepts. So you have to remember all the concepts. So for that, I have given you this particular question, which is asked in the examination from whistleblowing activity. So where this question has asked for ethics issue. When you're going for ethics issue, you have to ethical issues in business, you have to concentrate on the related topics also. So I hope it is clear. Now, question number 5. Now, what is question number 5? List out the code of ethics for certified fraud examiners as per CFE code of professional standards. Now, we'll see that. With that, I have given you 24, 25, 26 and 27 concepts also. We'll see that. Now, what is concepts? This code of conduct in forensic audit. Now, what is code of conduct in forensic audit? Now, what is the code of ethics? We'll see. It is here, code of ethics for certified fraud examiners. We'll see that. Now, who is called as certified fraud examiners? In my handwritten notes, I've given you a clear-cut idea of that. You can rely on that particular thing. Okay, who can become a forensic auditor? A qualification, CA, CMA or any other professional degree person, he can become a forensic auditor. And there are additional qualifications also to become a forensic auditor, like he can be a forensic accountant or he can be a certified fraud examiner. So for this, we have a separate courses. So if you are getting enrolled in that particular course and getting a certificate, then this will be an additional qualification for you to become a forensic auditor. So who are the certified fraud examiners? From an association of certified fraud examiners sets ethical standards for professionals involved in forensic audit. So there is an association called as Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. So they are giving as an examination, they are providing a course, and based on that we are getting the certified fraud examiners. So what are the principles in forensic audit for these certified fraud examiners? Integrity, professionalism, responsibility to clients and public, and commitment to excellence. So these are the principles in forensic audit. Now, for whom this code of conduct is applicable, which is given by Associate of Certified Fraud Examiners? 1. It is applicable to certified fraud examiners. The CFE Code of Professional Standards is mandatory for certified fraud examiners. So it is mandatory to be followed by CFEs. Other than them, it should be followed by associate auditors. Now, who are called as associate auditors? Now, for our ICMAI, we have ICMAI or ICAI. Now we have ICAI, Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Now, they have given us professional conduct or professional misconduct or code of conduct, which we have already seen in the previous units of cost audit. Now we have seen those. So this professional conduct, code of conduct or misconduct has been specified to us by our ICAI. Now, for whom this professional misconduct is applicable? For CMAs, because this is the profession which we are holding through our ICMAI. So for CMAs, all CMAs, it is applicable. And it is also applicable for a person who is doing CMA. Now, who are all you? You are pursuing your CMA. For you also, this professional code of conduct is applicable. Now, if you are going as a intern trainee to a organization, which means you are working for them as a part CMA, which means you are a grad CMA. So you have qualified your CMA intern. After that, you are going for a training to write your final examination. So you are training yourself to become a professional CMA. So for them also code of conduct is applicable. Similarly, here also we have associate auditors. Now, who are associate auditors? Who are already members of that particular ACFE, which means they have taken that ACFE course and they are doing that, but they are not completely certified fraud examiners, but they are like acting as a assistants to certified fraud examiners, like your trainees. You will work under a professional CMA as a trainee. Similarly, associate auditors are assistants for certified fraud examiners. So this code of conduct is applicable both for CFE as well as associate auditors. Now, we have standards of professional conduct for certified fraud examiners. We have 3 standards. First is standards of professional conduct. Second is standard of examination. And third is standards of reporting. So we have 3 standards, and these 3 standards are very important for your examination. So far, question hasn't been tested from these standards, but can be tested in this particular attempt. So regarding that, and code of ethics for certified fraud examiners, which is there in here. Super 50 question. Now, what is code of conduct? First, professionalism and due diligence, avoidance of illegal or unethical conduct, integrity and competence, compliance with court orders and impartial testimony, evidence-based opinion should be given, always there should be confidentiality, full disclosure of material matters, and continual improvement. So, all these are the code of ethics for certified fraud examiners. So, you have to remember this point and write it. I hope it is clear. So this is regarding the code of ethics and code of conduct for certified fraud examiners. The entire topic of ethical issues and certified fraud examiners is important for your examination. I hope it is clear. So yes, we have completed the entire unit of forensic audit. So in this, what you have to remember the most, what are the important concepts regarding forensic audit? It is important. So you have to remember the definition of forensic audit. If they are asking normally about need for forensic audit procedures, you'll be able to write it down. You have to understand about investigation methodology, as I've given you enough clarity about it. Remember that. And about the code of conduct of certified fraud examiners and ethical issues in business. These two concepts are very important from forensic audit. I hope it is clear. So this is regarding the entire unit 1 of section D, which is forensic audit. I hope it is clear. Is everything clear from forensic audit? Do you have any doubts? Any doubts from forensic audit? Is everything clear? Please let me know if everything is clear. Guys, is everything clear? Srinidhi. Yes, ma'am, clear. Thank you, Srinidhi. Bhanu Teja, clear, ma'am. Thank you, Bhanu Teja. Shreya, clear, ma'am. Thank you, Priya. First, forensic audit definition is very, very important. You have to write forensic audit definition. What question they have asked for. Irrespective of question, you have to write forensic audit definition. Wow, I'm getting the reactions. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Smiling reactions. Thank you. Okay. So I guess everything is clear. Now we are moving on to the unit 2 of section D, which is anti-money laundering. Now we'll see anti-money laundering unit. Now anti-money laundering. Now in this anti-money laundering, we have sections. What sections we have? We will give a quick revision of it. Now first, in this we are going to see what is money laundering and what is anti-money laundering, the definition of money laundering and anti-money laundering, and why, for what purpose we have to understand the concept of money laundering and anti-money laundering. And here we are going to understand about the money laundering connection with terrorism financing and cycle of money laundering. This is obvious, you already have in your law. Placement, layering and integration. The same thing is that. So you can remember that. Next, we have sections in money laundering. We have PMLA Act. In that PMLA Act, we have sections for anti-money laundering, and those sections are there in our CMA syllabus. First, CMAD, Cost and Management Audit. Now, what is section 2? Section 2 talks about definitions. Section 3, money laundering definition, which is very, 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 very important. Any question are asking, you have to write the definition. Section 4, punishment for an offense of money laundering. This is also simple, you can remember easily. Section 5, attachment of property. Section 6, adjudicating authority. Section 16, we have power of survey. Section 17, we have power of search and seizure. Section 18, power to search a person. Section 19, arrest under PMLA. Section 21, retention of records. Section 23, interconnected transactions. And section 24, presumption and onus of proof. In the entire subject of CMAD, we have very minimal sections. If we see, we have the sections in cost audit. In management audit, internal audit, we doesn't have any sections. We have sections in cost audit, that too are so minimal sections, like section 148, section 141, section 143, section 143, subsection 12. These are the sections which we have. Irrespective, we have 5 to 6 sections in cost audit. That's it. More than that, we have rules which you have to remember in cost audit. Now, if we are coming in the entire syllabus of cost and management audit, we have sections in money laundering. So it is very, very important for you to remember the sections and to write it in the examination also. It is very important. See, if you go for law, I remember one student has asked me about this. Ma'am, if we are not remembering the sections in cost audit, what should we write in the examination? Like, okay, this is from relevant section of PMLA Act, or according to the relevant section or applicable section under PMLA Act. Can we write like that? A student questioned me like that. Now, I am telling that don't do that, because in law you have many sections. For each and every concept you have sections. In that particular huge section list, to remember all sections, it is difficult. But you have to write that in examination. You can't do anything. So you will remember the important sections and you'll write it. Okay, that's fine. That's fair enough. Now here in entire cost and management audit, we have very minimal sections. If we combine everything, minimum to minimum, less than 20 sections only we have. Now, if in this also you're writing as applicable section or relevant section from this particular act or this provision, that will not give you marks. That will not fetch you marks. So I request you to remember the sections, because there are very minimal sections. So don't compromise on remembering the section numbers. I would say if you're just sitting for 10 minutes and revising it again and again, it will be there in your mind's eye. So don't compromise on that. Please remember the section numbers and write it in the examination. And then we have legal and regulatory framework. Now, who are the legal regulatory framework under this particular money laundering? We have Financial Intelligence Unit of India, Enforcement Directorate, RBI, SEBI, and other regulatory authorities. And we have about reporting entities concept and financial action task force recommendation for accountants. So these are the concepts which are covered under anti-money laundering. Now, if we see the anti-money laundering unit, I have given you 4, 5, 7 questions. Now, what are these 4, 5, 7 questions? We'll see. Now, why I have not given this? This is board material question which hasn't been tested so far. That is just why you have to understand about money laundering and financial terrorism. How it is related to financial terrorism. Both are about illegal source of funds. You are putting money, and from that illegal money, you're trying to derive a legal money. So the conversion of illegal money into legal money, or to put that illegal money into financial market, both are same. Money laundering and financial terrorism are same. But money laundering only talks about conversion of that money and bringing it to the market. But financial terrorism talks about the application of those funds. Here, we are not talking about application of funds, but only to convert that illegal money into legal money. We are talking about money laundering concept. But whatever the source of illegal money is there, to put that illegal money into an illegal activity is called as financial terrorism. So only that is there. So you will write that through Hawala transactions, to fake charities, through cryptocurrency transactions. All these are illegal methods for doing financial terrorism. Now, what is this question? Question number 4. I have not given the cycle of money laundering in your Super 50 questions, because anyhow you are going to learn the cycle of money laundering in law also. So you will be able to easily write that. This has been tested in June 24 as well as MQP of June 24. I'm making it again stressful that many students are thinking that if the question is there in MQP, it will not be tested in the examination. Proof. MQP June 2024, this is the question, and in June 2024 examination, there is a question. So you might think that if the question is there in MQP, the concept will be tested, but same question will not be tested. It will be tested. And there is also a misconception that people students will think that if the question is there in the previous attempt, in the right after next attempt, this will not be tested. No, it will be tested. If there is a question in the previous attempt, you think that in this attempt that question will not be asked. No, that will be asked in CMA examinations. Don't take that seriously. If anyone are telling you, don't take that seriously. Any question can be asked, either from MQP, either from past paper, or either from your material. Direct question can be tested. Anything can happen. Video stuck, ma'am. Why it's happening? And that too in a different I look so ooh. Yeah, it's clear now. Okay. Thank you, Srinidhi. I guess now it's there. So there is some kind of issue happening with my camera today. It's clear. Thank you. So yes, um, so this is about money laundering cycle. Now, question number 4. MQP 2024 question, 7 marks question. Now, what is this question? Describe the circumstances under which a person can be searched under section 18 of PMLA. Additionally, explain the prerequisites for arresting an individual under section 19. So they have asked us about 2 sections. Section 18, search a person. Section 19, arrest under PMLA. Now, you have to write the definition of money laundering. Now, what is the definition of money laundering? We'll go to section 3. These are the stages. Now, section 3, money laundering definition. Now, what is money laundering definition? Whoever or whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge, knowingly assist, knowingly is a party, is actually involved in any person or activity connected with proceeds of crime, projects it as untainted, claims it as untainted, shall be guilty of offense of money laundering. So this is the entire definition of money laundering. Whosoever directly or indirectly, we have 4 points. Attempts to indulge, knowingly assist, knowingly is a party of, is actually involved. In what? In any person or activity connected with proceeds of crime. And after that also he projects it as untainted or claims to be an untainted. Then he shall be guilty of offense of money laundering. So this is the definition of money laundering which you have to write. And after that, we have sections. Now, what is punishment of money laundering? In this punishment, you have to understand that both the punishments are either it could be general punishment or a special case punishment. It is a rigorous imprisonment. So, in both the cases, the word rigorous is being used in the examination. Now, this is not being asked as a direct question, but this has been tested in MCQs. This has been tested as an MCQ. And many students are getting confused. Ma'am, rigorous imprisonment is given. Now, whether we have to write it as 7 years or 10 years. Rigorous imprisonment is both there in general punishment as well as a special case punishment. Now, what is it called as rigorous? Which means strict punishment is being given, and whatever punishment is given, it is not as a loose punishment. Strict, no, based on policies and procedures, whatever the sentence which they are providing, it is a strict, which means some years there will be a strict punishment. It is called as a rigorous imprisonment. Now, how you have to remember if rigorous imprisonment is being used, and they'll not ask about general or special. Now, how you will identify it? If there is a sentence in the question which talks about NDPS Act, which is Narcotics, Drugs, Psychopathic Substances Act, or if they are using a word called as drugs and psychotropics, then you will write it as maximum 10 years, minimum 3 years, and fine if it is applicable. If it is not being used, then The minimum imprisonment will be 3 years, maximum will be 7 years, fine if it is applicable. So you have to just remember the point which is called as NBTS Act or drugs and psychotropics. If drugs and psychotropics is there, then your maximum imprisonment will be 10 years or else it will be 7 years. Minimum 3 years in both the cases. This is the simple which is given as a punishment for money laundering, and that is from section number 4. You have to remember that. Now they have asked about section number 18 and 19. Now what is section number 18? Power to search a person. Authority may search a person if he has a reason to believe, and that reason to believe is given in writing, recorded in writing. Person, if that reason to believe, now what is that reason and what is authority believing? If authority is believing that the person is hiding something or he is in possession, control or ownership of records or proceeds of crime, then in that case, the authority can search a person. When can he search a person? If he has a reason to believe, and that reason to believe is given in writing. And what the reason should be there? That the person is hiding something, or he is in possession, in control, or he is the owner of any record or any proceeds of crime. Then in that particular case, the authority can search a person. Authority can seize such records or property if relevant for proceedings under the PML. So this is regarding the power to search a person. I hope it is clear. Now, section 19. Arrest under PMLA. Officers empowered. Now, who can arrest under PMLA? Either a deputy director or an assistant director or any officer authorized by central government. Deputy director, assistant director or any officer authorized by central government, they can go for arrest. After arrest, what should be done? 4 points. First, they have to inform the grounds of arrest to the arrested individual. Second, forward an arrest order or the material information which is relevant for the arrest to the adjudicating authority. Third, produce arrested person within 24 hours before the court. And the court can be a judicial court or a metropolitan magistrate or a special court. So these are the points which has to be definitely done by the authority, whoever it is, deputy director, assistant director or any officer authorized by the central government. They have to follow this. I hope it is clear. 3 points. Inform the arrested person about the ground of arrest. Forward a copy of arrest with the supporting materials to adjudicating authority, and they have to produce that within the special court or judicial or any magistrate court within 24 hours of arrest. I hope it is clear. So these points you have to write in this particular question for section 18 and section number 19. I hope it is clear. Next, question number 5. Question number 5. Discuss the functions of Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Now, what is this Financial Intelligence Unit of India? This has been given from Legal and Regulatory Framework in India relating to PMLA. Now, who is having a regulatory body or regulatory authority for PMLA? Now, what is called as a regulatory authority, which means to prevent and detect the cases of this money laundering, who will work for it? Those are called as the regulatory authorities. Now, under these functions, who all are there? Financial Intelligence Unit of India and RBI, SEBI, Enforcement Directorate and other regulatory authorities. All these are called as the regulatory framework of India in relation to PMLA. Now, in this question, they have asked about Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Now, who is called as a Financial Intelligence Unit of India? This is established by Government of India on November 18, 2004. And Financial Intelligence Unit of India is a national agency responsible for dealing with suspect financial transactions. Now, what they do? Financial Intelligence Unit of India coordinates with national as well as international intelligence, investigation and enforcement agencies to combat money laundering and related crimes. So, they work on preventing and detecting money laundering crimes. It reports directly to the Economic Intelligence Council, which is headed by the Finance Minister of India. There will be Finance Minister of India, and they start a council which is called as EIE, Economic Intelligence Council. And under this Economic Intelligence Council, we have Financial Intelligence Unit of India, and they collect information regarding prevention and detection of money laundering. And if there are any suspect financial transactions regarding that, the information will be collected by the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Now, what are the functions? I have told you collection of information. Financial Intelligence Unit of India is a central point for receiving various reports from the entities such as cash transaction report, non-profit organization transaction report, cross-border wire transfer report, purchase or sale of immovable property report, suspicious transaction report. So these are the different transactional reports will be collected by the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. So what they do, they'll collect information. Second, what they do, they will analyze the information. Financial Intelligence Unit of India analyzes the information to uncover patterns of suspicious transaction that may indicate money laundering or other financial crimes. So they will try to analyze the information. So what type of pattern is they are using for money laundering? Next, they will act as a central repository for sharing the information. The agency shares valuable financial intelligence with national law enforcement or intelligence agencies, regulatory authorities, foreign financial intelligence units. So anyone as a regulatory body, they will come and ask for information. Financial Intelligence Unit of India will share the information to them. Is RBI an autonomous body or not, ma'am? Doubt. Autonomous body for what? Autonomous body for what? Are you asking that it is for money laundering? Can you make it more clear, Sandeep? So first, Financial Intelligence Unit of India will collect the information, and that too it will collect information about all this. It will collect all these kinds of reports. Next, analysis of information. After collecting the information, it will try to do the analysis of information. After that, it will share the information with different bodies. And then it will act as a central repository, which means a national database for reports receiving from various entities. After that, it enhances the coordination of financial intelligence collection and sharing, both domestically and internationally. Here we have seen it coordinates with national and international intelligence. So it will act as a central repository and it will coordinate between national and international agencies. Then research and analysis. It will do the research of how this money laundering is happening, why it is happening, how this is being taken care by the fraudsters, how we have to control everything. They will do the research and analysis. Sandeep, I'm waiting for your comment. Okay, we'll see when Sandeep tells us about that. Now, these are the functions of Financial Intelligence Unit of India. It will collect the information, it will do the analysis, it will share the information, it will act as a central repository, it will coordinate between okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. What does it mean by okay, no problem? What does it mean by okay, no problem, Sandeep? Okay, so these are the functions of Financial Intelligence Unit of India. So I'll write that points. So I hope it is clear about the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Now, when I gave you Super 50 questions as Financial Intelligence Unit of India, that doesn't mean that you will only depend on this, but you have to read about Enforcement Directorate, RBI, SEBI, as well as other regulatory authorities. Now, what Enforcement Directorate will do, now whatever we have seen as punishments which will be given, arrest will be done, and attachments will be done, search will be done, all these are nothing but the powers of Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate is responsible for enforcing under PMLA by conducting investigation to trace assets derived from proceeds of crime and ensure their attachment, so that this particular property is attached under money laundering. This is treated as money laundering. To know about that, everything will be done as an investigation by Enforcement Directorate. ED's role includes prosecuting offenders and seeking confiscation of the property. They'll confiscate the property and at the same time they'll prosecute the offenders involved in money laundering by the special court. Now, what are the powers? Imposing penalties. Powers include provisionally attaching a property, survey operations, search and seizure of assets, arrest of persons, retention of property and records. All these are powers of Enforcement Directorate. Then RBI. Now, what will RBI do? RBI will give the guidelines for each and every bank to report about the suspicious transactions. Now, whatever we have seen here as cash transaction report, suspicious transaction report, these are the reports which will be provided by RBI to Financial Intelligence Unit of India. So, whatever banks are there which are governed by RBI, which are under the RBI, RBI will try to provide the guidelines, regulations for different banks, and banks has to compulsorily comply with those regulations which has been told by the RBI, and they have to prepare the reports related to customer due diligence and enhanced due diligence. Now, what is called as customer due diligence? They have to collect all the information related to customers. So, normal information collection will be there, or enhanced due diligence, which means enhanced collection of information. If that particular person is suspect individual, or if it is politically exposed party, then they will collect more information about the transactions which they are making. In that case, all this transaction information will be collected by banks. If there is any suspicious transaction or regarding the cash transactions, how much, if it is exceeding the limit, if it is below the limit, regarding that reports will be collected, and those reports will be given to RBI by different banks, and then RBI will give the information to Financial Intelligence Unit of India, and they will collect the information and do the analysis and share the information to different regulatory bodies. I hope it is clear. Similarly, SEBI also. SEBI usually work on the securities market. Now, this securities market, how many market traders are there and how they are doing? Is there any manipulation of securities are being made? Is there any insider trading happening? Is there any kind of illegal activities which are happening through the securities? Regarding all this, which means money laundering, money, illegal money has been bought and that illegal money has been invested in the securities. Is there any kind of activities which is happening? Regarding those securities market trading, the SEBI will do the analysis, and if they have come across any suspicious transactions, they will also prepare a report and they will also send it to the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. And then similarly, other regulatory bodies like insurance regulators, pension regulators, and various sector specific authorities. So under their own circumstances, they will work on those regulations which they are having, and they will work on the transaction reports. And those transaction reports will be given to Financial Intelligence Unit of India. I hope it is clear. So this is about the legal and regulatory framework of India relating to money laundering. So I hope it is clear. Question number 5. Now, question number 7. What is question number 7? Question number 7. This has been tested in December 2024 attempt. Enumerate the measures to be taken for customer due diligence and provisions related to records keeping as per the Preventions of Money Laundering Act. So according to PMLA, how customer due diligence should be there and how retention of records should be there. Customer due diligence. Financial institutions should be prohibited from keeping anonymous accounts or accounts and fictitious names. So this process is called as customer due diligence. So they have to work on anonymous accounts or any fictitious name accounts is there and they have to prepare a report of it. Financial institutions should be required to undertake customer due diligence measures when established business relations, transactions exceed USD or EUR 15,000, suspicion on money laundering or terrorist financing, doubts on customer identity data. If they have come across any of this, then they have to give a report about these financial institutions. They have to prepare a report on customer due diligence measures. CDD measures to be taken are as follows. Identify and verify customers using reliable documents. So based on reliable documents, they'll identify and verify the customers. Now, identify and verify beneficial owners, understanding ownership or control structure. So who is the beneficial owner of that particular customer or the client, and about their ownership and about the control structure. Who will have the next control? Regarding that, they will identify and verify it. Next, obtain business purpose and intent where necessary. Now, for what purpose they are doing the business and what is their intent? What is their objective? Conduct ongoing due diligence and monitor the transaction for consistency. So all these are the CDD measures which are called as customer due diligence measures which are to be taken by the entities. I hope it is clear. And what is the record retention? Maintain transaction record for at least 5 years to aid investigation. Preserve CDD records, ID proofs, account details, business correspondence for 5 years after the end of relationship. Ensure records are accessible to authorities when required. So you have to remember about at least 5 years the records should be retained. About transactions, 5 years from the aid of investigation. From starting of investigation, 5 years they have to maintain about transaction. About people or the clients, ID proofs, account details and business correspondence, 5 years from the end of relationship they have to maintain or preserve the records. I hope it is clear. So this is about the customer due diligence about which is under PMLA. I hope question 7 is clear to you. Now, concept 14, 16 and 15, which is concept 14, 15 and 16. Now, as I've told you, concept 14, the concept 14 as I've included is not about presumption and owners of proof, but about legal and regulatory framework in India, which we have already discussed. So about legal and regulatory framework in India. Next, reporting entity. Now, who all are called as the reporting entities? Banks, financial institutions, those operating games of chance for reward, casinos, real estate agents, precious metal dealers, and persons carrying on a designated business or profession. So all will be classified as reporting entities under PMLA 2002. Every reporting entity is required to verify the identity of their clients and the beneficial owner, maintain records of all transactions and documents evidencing the identity of their clients and their beneficial owner, and periodical furnishing of information related to certain transactions. So they have to follow the report, and they have to, everything should be maintained as a particular document, and that has to be furnished to the relevant authorities. The records maintained must contain the information including the nature of transaction, the amount of transaction, and the currency in which it was denominated, the date on which the transaction was conducted, and the parties to the transaction to enable the reporting entity to reconstruct the individual transaction. So, who all are parties, on which date it has happened, on which amount it is happening, what is the denomination of that particular amount, and what is the nature of transaction. All this should be there in a record which is maintained by the reporting entity. The information relating to the transaction must be maintained for 5 years from the date of transaction between the client and the reporting entity. And the records relating to the identity of client's beneficial owner as well as the account files must be maintained for 5 years after the business relationship between client and reporting entity has ended or the account has been closed, whichever is later. So this is about the retention of records or maintaining of records by reporting entity. I hope concept 15 is clear. Now, concept 16, financial action task force recommendation for accountants. This question hasn't been tested so far. This concept hasn't been tested so far, but this can be tested in the coming attempts. So, now what are this financial action task force recommendation for accountants? So, there is a financial action task force. This financial action task force and the International Monetary Fund are nothing but our regulatory bodies of PMLA, which are called as global bodies. So we have two global bodies, which are two. One is Financial Action Task Force and the next is International Monetary Fund, IMF. Now what this Financial Action Task Force and International Monetary Fund will do? They will work on this particular prevention and detection of money laundering and anti-money laundering and terrorism financing. So they majorly work on the cases of financial terrorism and anti-money laundering. Now, as a global body, Financial Action Task Force has given some recommendations for the accountants. Now, what are the applicable situations for accountants for which the recommendations are given? So, Financial Action Task Force is telling to your accountants that if you are going to enter into any of this kind of situations, directly or indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, you might be a party of money laundering activity. So, be careful when doing it. For being careful, I have given some recommendations. Which means Financial Action Task Force has given you some recommendations that when you are entering into transaction, you have to have these professional duties, responsibilities within you. Now, what are those applicable situations? Buying and selling of real estate, managing client money, securities or other assets, management of bank, savings or securities accounts, organizing contributions for company creation, operation or management, creation, operation or management of legal entities or arrangements, buying and selling of business entities, financial transaction for clients regarding all other activities. Now, when you are going to enter into any of this kind of situations, directly or indirectly, you might be a party of money laundering. So, if you are buying a real estate, who knows, maybe the real estate is built through a money laundering money. Now, you are going to buy that, which means you will become an owner of a money laundering property. So, there might be a case. Or else, if you are handling your client money, securities and other assets, he will give you the details of securities. And you will not know whether this security has been bought from money laundering money or not. And if you are managing a bank account, savings account or securities account, there might be a case that that owner might be a fraudulent person. Organization contributions for company creation. Now you will check whether the company is created based on the laws and regulations or not. That's it. Now, how will you know whether the money which has been put as a capital for company creation, whether that money is a legal money or illegal money? Who knows? Creation, operation or management of legal entity or arrangements. Buying and selling of business entities. Now, you will be a owner and you want to buy a business entity. You will be going for buying a business entity. Who knows, the previous owner is an illegal person. He has done some fraudulent in their own company and he is trying to give it to you. So, these are the cases. Without you knowing, you might be involved into money laundering activities. So, how to prevent it? You have to always focus on risk-based approach. So, meaning of risk-based approach, you have to identify, assess and manage the risk related to money laundering and terrorism financing. First, you need to have a detailed understanding about money laundering and terrorism financing. And whenever you are entering into any transaction, you have to identify, assess and manage whether there is any risk relating to money laundering and terrorism financing on that particular transaction. Next, how the risk identification assessment will be done. First, establish controls before engaging with the clients to address the potential risk. When you are entering into transaction, you will build some policies and procedures within you, the security controls within you, that okay, if I am going to buy a plot, I need all the documents from the start to end. After verifying the documents only, I'll sign for the real estate. So you have to build some controls within you. Conduct AML or CFT measures, which are called as anti-money laundering, counter financing of terrorism, and know your customer assessment to determine the overall money laundering or terrorism financing risk. And risk factors include, first is customer. For customer, you'll do background verification, AML checks, politically exposed parties, who are their beneficial owners. And about country, what is his residence country, where the incorporation is, from where he is getting the sanction, and is there any terrorism support. Transactional service, nature of financial and tax advice, property transaction, and company formation. The risk assessment influences the level of customer due diligence. So based on these risk factors, you will determine whether this customer or transaction is coming under CDD or EDD, which means customer due diligence or enhanced due diligence. Next, you will go for risk mitigation. So if it is CDD, background checks on client to assess their risk level is more than enough. If it is normal CDD, no higher risk is there, then you will go for background risk. If it is enhanced due diligence, more detailed scrutiny for high risk clients, especially PEPs, which is politically exposed parties. And update CDD information based on significant changes in client circumstances. Now, when you are entering into transaction, you will do the risk-based approach and risk assessment. Okay. You will follow the risk identification and risk assessment, and you will decide whether he is coming under CDD or EDD. CDD means low risk. EDD means high risk. You will categorize it. Now, who knows, after entering into your client data, after entering the transaction, he might start doing illegal activities. Now, when you were starting off your client transaction, you have done the risk identification and you have categorized that particular client to CDD. After that, he has done some illegal activity and now it has turned out to be a high risk client. Now, what you have to do, update CDD information based on significant changes in the client circumstances or activities. You will do on a constant basis. Then, additional requirements are what? Maintain records, assess new products or practices, rely on third parties for CDD, and report on suspicious transactions. Implement internal control systems and compliance management systems with the designated compliance officer. So, recruit an officer who is called as designated compliance officer and he will tell about the internal control systems. Then you have to report on suspicious transactions. Identify and report suspicious activities to Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Appoint a money laundering reporting officer, and there might be, these are the examples of suspicious activities. Client unconcerned about losses or no profits or low profits, unexplained high volumes of transactions, unjustified deposits or cash receipts. And this is not a one-time process, it is an ongoing process. Regular review should be there and ensure that client documentation is up to date and relevant. Establish internal controls, policies and procedures guided by senior management. Provide training for employees about AML and CFT practices. Regularly review the risk assessment and designate a compliance officer and implement a compliance program. So all these are the recommendations which are given by Financial Action Task Force to your accountants so that you will understand the importance of anti-money laundering and terrorism financing, so that whenever you are entering into any of these situations, then knowingly or unknowingly you might be a party of money laundering. To avoid that, you have to follow these recommendations. So this is about the Financial Action Task Force recommendations for accountants 14, 16 and 15. I guess we have completed the section D, anti-money laundering and forensic audit. I hope everything is clear to you. Is everything clear so far? Do you have any doubts? Guys, any doubts? Bhanu Teja, clear ma'am? Srinidhi, thank you, ma'am. And after completing law exam, how to prepare for CMAD? Yes, I'll give you a schedule. I'll provide schedule for day before exam preparation. Now, what you have to majorly focus upon. Um, in my capsule, I've already, in the introduction class of the Super 50, I've given you A category and B category and C category. So you can focus on this ABC analysis. So A category are companies, cost records and audit rules 2014, cost auditor, overview of cost accounting standards and GESAP, management reporting issues and analysis, management audit in different functions, audit of different service organizations, forensic audit and anti-money laundering. These are the A category topics. Then B category topics, basics of cost audit, cost auditing and assurance standards, preparation and filing of cost audit report, basics of management audit, information system security audit, and internal control and internal audit. Now, C category topics are operational audit, evaluation of corporate image, cost audit program, cost audit documentation, audit process, and execution. So, these are the ABC analysis for this particular subject of cost and management audit for upcoming June 2025 attempt. So, right after coming from your law exam, first you will start with A category concepts. In this A category topics, first what you will do, you will complete the practical problems first. Whatever we have as practicals, because in our examination, 3 to 4 questions will be practical. Other than that, everything will be theory. And we have a clear-cut idea that only from these units, I'll get the practical problem. What are the units? Companies, cost records and audit rules 2014. From this, what practicals can be tested? Value addition can be tested. Financial position and ratios can be tested. Or profit reconciliation can be tested. So we have three set of practicals from companies, cost records and audit rules 2014. So we'll first try to complete that. Then we have practicals from overview of cost accounting standards and GESAP. And in the Super 50 also, when we are discussing this, I have told you from what theory questions will be tested and from what practicals will be tested. And we'll have a different session for practicals. In that, I'll give you clear idea. So you'll complete cost accounting standards and GESAP practicals. Then we have practicals in management reporting issues and analysis. This management reporting issues and analysis practical question can be tested for last 5 MCQs according to recent MQP. So we will first complete our practicals. Then we will move to theory. And in that theory, first you will focus on A category. And if you have time, then you will go for B category. Do not touch C category day before examination. No need for C category. Just focus on A category and B category and go for the examination. I hope it's clear. So this is ABC analysis and I will try to give a proper schedule of how you can prepare the day before examination for both. If you are writing both groups, then I'll give you a separate schedule. If you're not writing both groups, then if you're writing only group 4, CMAD will be a first subject. So how you have to prepare it, I'll give you a clear-cut schedule so you can follow that schedule. I hope it's clear. And most importantly, if you have in the day before examination, I'm talking about, if you have so far not touched a topic and you don't know better that topic, then skip that topic the day before examination. Do not touch it at all. Even if it is from A category, I'm talking. If you have not taken that so far, if you have not touched, and if you are not perfect about it, don't touch it. Revise what you've already revised. Don't go for new topics the day before examination. Due to any circumstances, you would have done that either because of your work schedule, either because of your personal reasons. You might skip some topics. Before examination, don't take that topic, please. First and foremost, you'll get the stress. I have not started this yet. Now, what will happen if this question is asking in the examination? You'll be so much stressed out. Do not touch that topic. Revise whatever you have revised so far so that you'll get a confidence. Okay, the question will be tested from this and I'll be able to write that. You need to have that confidence. Balaji, clear madam. Thank you. Thank you so much, Balaji. Srinidhi, thank you, ma'am. You're welcome, Srinidhi. Now, yes, we have completed our 4-day Super 50 marathon or revision session, and I hope everything is clear to you. And many students will have many doubts yet because exams are very round the corner, and I know how much you all will be stressed out. Be calm, be cool. You have given your revision, you have given your 100%, and obviously you will give your best in the examination. So do not worry about that. And yes, we are there with you, and we have provided marathons, super 50 questions, and also MCQ sessions will be conducted. So what are you fearing for? MCQs you'll be perfect. Super 50 questions we have gave, and even we have given you marathons. So rely on those, you will be able to score much more marks. And for cost and management audit, you have a live example. Many students have got 80 marks and 70 marks and even 94 marks. The highest marks from cost and management audit is just by relying on marathon. So yes, if you have taken regular classes from me, then you have taken regular classes, you have taken marathon, I've conducted sessions for you, I've given you enough clarity. So you will be able to rock in the examination in my subject, cost and management audit. You do not take tension at all. Rely Part 1 marathon, Part 2 marathon, and the Super 50 classes. MCQ class will be there. Practical questions class will be there. Everything is being provided to you. So don't take much stress. Be calm, be cool, be relaxed. Just listen to everything, learn everything, go to examination, and you will see the question paper and you'll be very stunned. Oh, I know everything. I'll just rock. I'll get 60 marks. I'll get 70 marks. I'll get 80 marks. And even some people will get fullest marks in the cost and management audit. You will be in that particular state of mind. And I'll give the guarantee for that. So yes, thank you. Thank you so much for joining the live class. We have completed the 4-day revision class and I'm very glad and I'm very happy for that. So yes, we'll come up with the more sessions. Sandeep Kumar, thank you, Sandeep. Srinidhi, when practical question and session uploaded, ma'am? We'll upload it. I can't give you the specific date, but yes, I'll do it as early as possible. Please release CFR Super 50, ma'am. Sweet. Yes, it's on progress. Balaji, thank you so much. Thank you, Balaji. Sandeep Kumar, some fail. What some fail, Sandeep Kumar? So yes, thank you so much for joining the live. And yes, there are more upcoming sessions on the YouTube channel for your own benefit and for your preparation. So you can focus on those and you can prepare for your examination. And I'm making it again specific that rely on Part 1 marathon, Part 2 marathon, and this particular Super 50 questions. And obviously and easily you will be able to score your desired marks in the examination. So thank you so much. I'm ending the live and we'll see you in the other session. Till then, keep learning. Bye. All the very best for the examination. Thank you so much. I'll be for 2 minutes. So if you have any doubts or if you want to say anything, then you can tell in the chat box. Bhanuteja, thank you, ma'am. You're welcome, Bhanuteja. Thank you. I'm receiving so much of reactions, heart and reactions. Thank you so much. So yes, I'm closing the live. Thank you for joining. All the very best for the examination. Thank you.